I can remember a really specific scenario actually just last semester. I always think of myself as a really good writer. I've always viewed myself as really strong in essay writing. And um, one time I got a paper back that I thought I did a great job in, and it was not the mark I was expecting. And I remember the immediate feeling was the professor marked it wrong. It wasn't my fault. But I went to see the professor, and he talked me through why he gave me the mark he did, and most importantly, he talked me through in terms of what I could change so that he would have improved the mark he'd given me. And he walked me through laying out how I should write my essay using outlines, which sources are useful, which quotes I should use, how many quotes. So I would say that one experience was definitely really defining, and I continue to use the way he taught me how to write essays today to all my courses.
It's been pretty positive. A lot of the times I actually have class during the office hours, so I've spoken to the profs beforehand, and they'll be really accommodating and actually make more time for me to come talk to them, and they're very helpful. I guess, yeah, with everything that I've asked, they have been able to guide me or maybe provide a deadline for different things. So it has been a pretty good experience just talking to profs.
So, in my first year, I went to my TA's office hours for some help on an essay that I didn't do very well on, and I was used to doing very, very well on essays, and I got a surprisingly low mark, and I wasn't very happy with it. And so I went for some constructive feedback, and he was able to sit down with me for 45 minutes and really nitpick everything that I could improve with the essay, and I really, really appreciated that. I wasn't looking to change my mark, just looking for some feedback on how to improve the next time.
I just went to my literary theory professor's office hours just a few weeks back, and I found it really helpful. I asked her what graduate programs I could possibly apply for, and she told me about many graduate programs that I didn't even know about. For example, I wanted to continue on with my English studies in graduate school, but I didn't necessarily want to do it from a very historical point of view. So she told me about some programs that had more contemporary kind of studies, and I found that very eye-opening just to learn about the programs that I wouldn't otherwise have known.
I made an appointment to go see a professor, and you understand that professors do have some time constraints and things like that. But a certain professor in the same department just couldn't make the time for me, even though we'd made an appointment. And after 3 minutes was just ended the appointment and said, "Thanks, that's it." And I didn't feel I'd gotten my questions answered.
I've gotten one negative experience so far that sticks out, and it was during last semester. A group of my friends were studying during study week, and I guess they were too chicken to ask the professor during office hours for a question. So they're like, "Oh, why don't you just come with us and we'll ask a question?" So we went as a group. We went into the office hour, and we went to her. She was sitting there. She had a blank desk, and right in front of her there was a blank sheet of paper. So as I began to ask my question, she's like, "Okay, can you first graph it to me so I can know what you're asking?" And at that moment, I got really nervous. I was put right on the spot, and I started drawing the wrong graph. And I could hear my friends in the back like starting to cover up their laughs, and teacher was like, "What are you doing?" And at that moment, I was so red at that moment, and I didn't want to continue. So I was like, we left that office hour like so scared of her because we didn't get her answer for a question, and I guess it's because that we didn't really go to her office hours too much that it made it a really embarrassing moment.
I've never had any negative experience per se, but one time I went in and got help from one of my professors for one class in a totally different class for about 3 hours, which was definitely useful. Almost every time you go into an office hours meeting, you come out with something that you weren't expecting.